Are you ready for a wild two-player adventure? Because today we're reviewing the game A Wild Venture from Peaky Games. It's for two players. Hey gang, thanks for joining us at Taste Around Studio 3. I'm Will Meadows.
And I'm Sarah Meadows, and today we're reviewing the game A Wild Venture. This game was designed by Ian Everett and features artwork of Penny Jo Everett, and it's being published by Peaky Games. It's currently available as a pre-order on GameFound.
A Wild Venture is a 1 to 2 player hand management, engine building, set collection, adventure game. It's set in this fun little quirky world. I have assumed the two Everetts work together on this. While the mechanics for the game are super simple and there's not a whole lot going on your turn, the possibilities due to the cards in this game are pretty endless. Let's go ahead and jump in, take a quick look.
This game features a double-sided board, and you can select whether you'd like a more straightforward experience or one with some extra pathways, but also has costs along the way.
Players will select one of the 3 available characters, and then they will set up their tableau. You start the game with 3 basic actions at your disposal, and then each turn you will take 2 actions, and primarily they will involve either gathering coins, drawing cards, or adventuring along the path and taking whatever action you land on.
You can also pay for the cards in your hand in order to add them to your tableau, giving yourself new available actions.
Whenever you do this, you will add supply tokens to the card, showing the number of times that you can take that new action before it wears out.
As players travel up the different paths on the board, they may be able to upgrade their cards, pick up coins or cards, and at the end of each venture, they will discover a treasure chest before heading back to town and doing it all again.
When players travel back down to town, they will also get to collect any of the cards that they have used all of the supply tokens on, and they will tuck those cards at home for scoring at the end of the game.
Players will play through the entire deck, and then everyone will get one more turn before final scoring.
Players will tally up the number of crow, frog, and rabbit villager cards that they've managed to tuck, and then multiply the higher number by the lowest number.
They will also multiply the number of gear cards they collected by the number of buildings that have ladybug enchantment tokens.
And then they'll also add all of the supply tokens that are on their buildings, and then the player with the highest score wins. Alright, so those are the base mechanics. There are a lot of additional things going on. We just barely mentioned the scoring of things like gear cards and buildings, so let's just walk through all the additional pieces, and then at the end we'll share our opinions on the game as well. Talk to us a little bit about the gear.
Alright, so those will go at the top of your tableau, and then I usually think of it by adding the word when. Whenever this thing happens, either me or the other player, I'll get to take one of those supply tokens off, and then once all of those are depleted, you'll get to take the relic action. And some of those are pretty powerful, and you'll then get to tuck the card when you make it to the end of on the adventure board.
Yeah, so you've got gear, you've got villagers, the villagers are kind of the main actions in the game, and those are the crow, frog, and rabbit. And then you've also got building cards, and those are going to be typically they're going to be more like the ongoing powers, like every time you buy a card like this, you get to do something, or anytime you add something, add one extra thing. And so getting those buildings is pretty powerful. And then unlike the villagers and the gear where you're removing tokens on the building cards, you're actually adding tokens to it, and those are going to be worth points at the end of the game.
Yeah. The villager cards, they have a wide variety of different things you can do.
I believe all the cards in the game are unique. I don't think there's any repeats.
There are no repeats. It's a big deck.
And you play the whole deck.
And you play the whole deck. So this isn't, while it's not a super long game, it will take you a while to get through the deck, especially your first play when you're still trying to figure out how to best
even just
chain
learning
the cards.
The terminology. I think this game does have a little bit different, like, it says gain instead of collect, or it says on the gear cards, it doesn't say when this happens.
It says consider.
Right, so once you kind of
re-wrap
your mind on...
When you realize consider is draw and pick.
Yeah, look at cards.
Oh, that makes sense.
It all makes sense.
It's
just a little different than what you're normally used to, I think.
Yeah, which is fine, because the game is pretty streamlined other than that. Yeah, those villager cards can be very powerful, and some of them you're only going to be able to use 2, 3, 4 times total. And some of them are quite expensive, as you would think, for doing some powerful actions in the game. But then there's also a few that are take an action of a card another card. So you might have depleted one, but you haven't made it to the end of the adventure track, and so you will maybe get to do that a few more times.
Yeah, that's really one of the beautiful things in this game is an engine building game where you're building the engine, and the engine kind of wears out after a couple turns. However, if you can figure out how to restoke it, then it's fantastic. So if you get some of those really powerful cards that are only one at a time used typically, but if you can get them set up to where you can do them one right after the other, you can create some really exciting chains that are very satisfying when you play the game. This game for me kind of scratches that same Everdell itch where you've got a bunch of cards on the table in front of you, you're trying to make sure you don't forget any of them and that you use all of them, except in this game you are like cycling through it a whole lot faster. Mm-hmm. You're not leaving 15 cards on the table. You might have 15 at one time, but you're going to be flipping them back and forth and swapping them out every time you make it to the top of the board.
Yeah, and because you get to decide when you go on that adventure track and take actions that include moving on the track, it does mean that you can control when you will be able to start tucking cards. And so if you want to wait a little bit, and I really like to do this action and get this card tucked in a little bit, but not yet, just don't take the adventure action for a while, and that may mean you aren't getting some of the items that are powerful on that board, but it may help you sync your cards a little bit better for what they're doing.
At the end of each of those tracks is going to be a treasure chest. Some of them are better treasure chests than others. There's 3 different types of them, and they're all going to give you some good options. So you might be able to tuck extra cards or draw extra cards or spend extra cards or whatever, depending on which type of chest you land on, and that can also be like really powerful. Like I might get to the top and want to tuck all my cards, or I might get to the top and need to draw 4 cards. There's a lot of like variance in the timing that you take all these actions in, and that is also, that's kind of what she was saying, like you can choose when you want to go up there, and that makes it really interesting when you're like, oh, I actually need to spend these 2 more cards, spend off the tokens on them so that I can tuck them because we're getting near the end of the game. And the in-game scoring, there's actually some memory that goes on in it because you are going to score, if you've been playing crow cards the entire game and you played 2 crows and you got 2 times whatever, 10 is not nearly as many points as if you just balanced that out and had, 6 times 7 or something. So you're not supposed to look, I think there is variance in the game. You're supposed to remember the types of cards that you were tucking so that you can kind of balance that score and get as many points as possible at the end.
Yeah, and if that's not your type of game, there are some rules to
I think you can look if you want.
You can look if you really want
to. They specify that just for me because I can't remember.
I really enjoyed the art. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Adventure Time, but in a very lighthearted, whimsical. Just that art style a little bit. It has great art, and it all the cards and the iconography and everything works together pretty well in the game.
I will say my one beef with the game is that there's no reason this can't be a 5-player game. You do interact a little bit with each other. You sometimes will be adding their cards or taking some of their money or giving them some money. Not a ton.
Yeah, not very often.
I'm not 100% sure why it's only a 2-player game. I would be delighted to play this at 3, 4, 5 players. I don't think it would really break it. Obviously, it would break it because you don't have player characters and cards to set up for that. But I'm ready for the 4-player expansion right now. This game, I enjoyed it. Of all the games we played this year, this one is high. It was mentally fun. It was tactily fun, going up the little board and figuring out which path I wanted to go on. The differences in the path are significant, but it actually had I felt like I was going on an adventure. Which path am I going to pick? Oh, I'm going up this one. Okay, this is cool. Oh, she's getting better bonuses over there. Shoot. Well, maybe I want to go over there next time. I actually felt like the choice of path that I went on and impacted what I was doing in the game. The cards that I was playing, I played it one time. They merged together so perfectly. I was crushing it. Mm-hmm. And then the second time I came through, I felt like even though we played the entire deck twice, I felt like I didn't even see the same cards. 2 of the cards seemed the same. I was like, is she keeping all the good cards that I had last time? I think the game that we got did feature an expansion, so we played that as well, which adds more cards to the deck. lots and lots of fun in this actual gameplay for me.
Yeah, I normally don't like two-player games. I'm just going to say that now. A lot of two-player games are a lot of battle and back and forth and take that. This is not like that at all. It is almost a solitaire game. It's not, because your gear cards do have to do with any time this happens. But it feels more like a Euro or a game that I would enjoy playing, because I have more control over what I'm doing and you can't mess it up. I don't mind take that games, and there's a place for them, but I feel like sometimes two-player games fall into that. This is not like that at all. So this one is definitely, even though it's a two-player, pretty high on my list this year as well.
Yep, really good stuff. If it looks like something that you would enjoy, you can check it out. It is available for pre-order on GameFound now. Otherwise, you can probably find it on the Pika website. Yeah, lots and lots of fun. Highly recommend. If you're interested, check it out. Otherwise, we'll see you guys in the next video. Keep playing games, have some fun. See you in the next one.